Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another special episode of After Credits. We just saw Christopher Nolan's new war epic, Dunkirk, in 70mm IMAX, bitches! Dunkirk, that's 70mm stripped from the movie. This film is directed by Christopher Nolan. You know him as the director of the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Interstellar, Memento, The Prestige. Any artsy, brainy movie that somehow had some minimum degree of success in the past 15 years is dedicated to this guy. Hello to the people parked next to us, who just stared at us awkwardly. This is a film about the events at Dunkirk, where 400,000 soldiers from the Allied troops were basically stranded on a beach. There was no way for the army to send in their destroyers to come and save everyone or rescue everyone. So what ends up happening is that the Navy enlists civilian boats, and some civilian ships are trying to make their way onto Dunkirk and save as many people as possible. You've got people like Tom Hardy, who's an airship pilot flying around the area. You've got people like Mark Rylance, who he and his son are piloting a little boat trying to go to Dunkirk and rescue the guys. And you've got the main kid, and the only thing I know about this kid is that he went to his audition for this movie blind. He had no idea he was auditioning for the main role of the movie.
He's blind. Oh, never mind.
What, are you retarded?
Damn, he's a good ass actor.
Good. Yeah, I was like,
we got another Daredevil, shit.
Yeah, if he's blind, then he did pretty good.
What Nolan does is employs a different kind of structure, which with each perspective, he gives you a time frame. And the time frame perhaps for Tom Hardy's pilot is that everything that happens 1 hour before real time. With Mark Rylance in the boat, it's 1 day before real time. And what happens with our main character, who is this young soldier running away from artillery fire, kind of getting thrust into every situation that happens, he's there a week before real time. So what ends up happening is that the movie changes between three perspectives to give you a full 360 view of everything that's going on. You get to see different perspectives, from the skies to the ground, survivors to civilians and soldiers, and this movie is a masterpiece. This right here is the movie of the summer.
It is fucking amazing.
I am absolutely blown away at the craft, just the cinematography. The editing is spot on. The writing is extraordinary. I've heard from people that this movie isn't as developed with its characters, but I don't think that's the intention.
When it comes to war movies or any, movie that has any kind of dramatic thriller like Dunkirk, like Saving Private Ryan, for example, you had character development with Tom Hanks' character and, Private Ryan. And this one, it's totally different from your typical war movie that tells a story. But this one is just like...
It's a different kind of movie because this film is on high octane for the entirety of it. There's always something happening. There's always danger. And so unlike Saving Private Ryan, where they had nights and certain parts of the day to slow down and have a conversation and talk with each other, in this, it's purely about survival or rescuing someone or saving someone. These characters are not developed by what they say to each other, but rather what they do for each other. You can see it. The acting is phenomenal.
There's barely any dialogue.
There's barely any dialogue because you don't need it.
Yeah.
Now, it'll take you some time to piece this structure together because it is weird seeing characters from one scene in a different environment, but once you link it in your mind that this is taking place in different times, it works. Before we go any further, spoiler alert, we're gonna go completely into it. So if you don't want to know anything more about this movie, scroll to the time code right here to pick up our final thoughts and scores out of 6 stars. The reason I love that this is non-linear is because the movie ends up crafting little peaks and valleys. you're really worried, like, oh my god, is this person gonna survive? Are these kids gonna make it? Or is Tom Hardy gonna shoot this guy down? And then it goes, builds to a climax, then comes back down. And it's edited in so well that you're constantly on this roller coaster, and you don't feel cheated. You don't feel like this was drawn out or this was sped up too quickly. I'm amazed by all this. Because normally Nolan's movies are like, what, 2.5 hour dramas? But this one just keeps going. And it's tight as a clock. This entire score is built around a pocket watch. So you constantly feel on edge. You feel like there's always something coming, because there is. You're in the middle of this battle. And the few times that the clock isn't ticking in the background, it freaks you out.
Yeah, when it goes dead silent.
Yeah, whenever the main kid is finally on the train after he makes it out and the clock just goes silent, I thought that as like the 1 second where he could finally breathe. To the Harry Styles loving crowd, please go see this movie. Support your boy. I think he's a good actor.
This is not his first movie, huh?
Oh yeah, it is.
This is his first movie.
This is his first movie, and he did damn good.
What a way to put it on your resume.
That whole little Lord of the Flies scene inside the ship when they're getting shot at the beginning, and you're trying to, and they're arguing over like who will go outside to make sure like what the hell's going on, or if the boat's in the water. That's a tense scene, and I think he delivered that anger extraordinarily well. If you're worried about that scene in the trailer where he almost gets trapped underwater, you'll be fine. You'll be alright.
Now,
they can't kill off your pretty boy.
I don't think I've seen any CGI.
I doubt. There probably was like.
There is. Nolan is very limited. I think with Interstellar, he maybe only had like, I want to say 2,000 VFX shots. That's for like Interstellar. It might have been less. I know for Guardians of the Galaxy, like 2, it's like 5,000 VFX shots. Something exorbitant like that. No, but Nolan's been a huge proponent of practical effects forever.
I mean, but he used real planes.
He pulled a Howard Hughes on us, man.
Like,
am I the only one that thinks at the end of the movie, whenever Tom Hardy's kind of like floating in on the ship, was that a model? Was that like a model plane?
That was a legit plane.
It was a legit plane?
Yeah.
It looked weird. Like the background looked like it was a matte painting. Not a matte painting, but I thought that it was like maybe some B-roll film that they did flying over, and they just put Tom Hardy.
You know, beaches can be pretty long.
Yeah, distorted, and let alone when you're flying, a lot of the view is kind of distorted. Especially
going probably that speed.
Potentially.
Spitfire's an average speed of Spitfire is like 310 miles an hour.
He was also stopping.
He was also
gliding,
running out,
so he was probably going around.
It's not gliding, it's falling with style!
That's exactly what I thought in the final scenes whenever he was out of gas, gliding around, and he took down that last,
yeah.
What were the German ship?
Heinkel's.
What?
Heinkel's.
Did they have like a different name?
No, that's their bomber. His name is Heinkel's.
No. It wasn't a bomber. It was a
fighter. Oh, BF-109s, Messerschmitts.
Messerschmitts?
Yeah.
When he took down the Messerschmitts, I was going in for the final attack on the soldiers.
Beach,
yeah, on the beach, and he was able to shoot him down when he was gliding and had no fuel.
Oh, you mean the last plane? The one that was diving down towards the dock for the last run? There's 4 different planes used in the movie. The Stuka, the Messerschmitt, the Messerschmitt BF-109s, the Heinkels, and the Spitfires. The Spitfires was the British.
Yeah.
The Heinkels, the BF-109, and the Stuka.
Was the Stuka
they're the dive bombs.
I love how everybody bitched before this movie came out. What the fuck? It's PG-13. This movie's gonna suck.
There was an F-bomb. I heard it.
There's 2.
There's 2, but there was one thing that I was surprised that was lacking, especially for a war movie, and that is blood and gore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a PG-13 film. It still pulled off the ferocity.
Oh yeah.
Shit, that one scene where friggin' like Tommy's burying his head in the sand, and you just see the bomb lines up, and you see that one dude just fucking thrown like a rag doll. I never saw him come down. With all the wide shots in this movie, you wouldn't see like individual bits of blood. It's such a giant frame that really all you need to see is the chunk of the ship that's missing to know that, god damn, these guys are fucked.
Also, from what I read, those destroyers that you saw weren't legit destroyers. They rebuilt destroyers. I mean, give or take, it was all plywood and regular wood, and you know, but still, I know, but the way that they were able to make it like accurate, it's pretty impressive.
Especially the detail, dude.
In the super wide shots on the beach to show the destroyers in the back, Nolan would use cardboard cutouts to make it look more packed in the ocean if they couldn't put an actual boat there.
Oh yeah.
Who the fuck is doing something this ambitious and practical nowadays?
Not many.
Christopher fucking Nolan.
not many in Hollywood want to tell a story like this. So.
Motherfucker sitting there wearing a suit, building a badass war movie. Shit.
This has got to get like heavy nominations for practical effects.
Shit. You remember near the end of the movie when all the civilian ships start coming in, and you hear that rousing score in the background? Tell me you didn't shed a fucking tear.
I didn't shed a tear, but I felt good inside.
My heart grew 3 sizes. And then I remembered that this was like a day before real time, and I was like, fuck. It's such a heartbreaking thing, too, whenever the movie shows you Tom Hardy flying over the destroyers and the few ships. There's that one ship with the blue stripe on top. And I'm like, okay, I know I have to focus on that ship because that's gonna come back later. And then when you see friggin' Tommy and Harry Styles running to that ship, I'm like, motherfucker. You know what I love too? That this movie has subplots about morality and war, but they don't have to explain them to you by having like arguments and conversations. That part with Cillian Murphy and the kid,
oh yeah,
that's a whole subplot that covers a good maybe like 20 minutes of this movie where Cillian Murphy, they rescue him. He's definitely shell-shocked and he's standoffish. He doesn't want to touch anybody. He definitely doesn't want to go back to Dunkirk. And there's one point in the movie where he pushes sort of the younger kid named George, and George hits his head on a metal spigot, starts bleeding out the back of his head. You find out later that that impact has caused him to go blind. So his friend, Mark Rylance's son, is sitting there like horrified because he knows that this is fucking bad. And so every time he's looking at Cillian Murphy, there's a part of him that's like, I want to kill this guy. He has to stand justice for what he's done. But Mark Rylance is looking at him like, I know what you're feeling. I know what he's feeling too. And right now is not the time. And you see that all through glances, all through blocking. It's uncomfortable, and there's part of you that just wants this kid to like get at least a good punch him, but he can't.
Towards the ending of it, I think he kind of like understood, okay, it was an accident.
He had that moral thing whenever he asked, is the kid okay? And the kid was fucking dead. He was like, yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to tell a soldier that is shell-shocked, that is literally is not in the right state of mind?
He would have gone nuts.
There was another part that caused my heart to twist, is when they get on the ship, the kid yells down, be careful with him, and they're like, he's dead, mate. So he takes a pause, and like kind of choked up, you can hear him say, well, be bloody careful with him. And I was like, fuck me. So at the end of the movie, whenever you see him go inside the newspaper and then like tell him his story, and your heart just like, oh God, at least he finally got to be in the paper and recognized for something important, God damn it. Here's where I'm gonna defend this bit.
Oh yeah.
There's a part in the movie where Tom Hardy is like gliding slowly. He's maybe like a foot away from the dirt, and he's trying to activate his landing gear, but the landing gear is just like inching its way out. And so what made me laugh, I was like,
they didn't have hydraulics back then.
I'm sitting there like, of course. Like, of course, he's been through shit, he's been shot at, he's lost his friend, he's been bombing and shit, and of course, right when he's gliding, right when he's got the sunset ready to come in, his fucking wheels come out slow as shit, and you're like, oh my God, is he gonna make it or not? This is like laughing out of desperation. Like, of course this would fucking happen.
So if you scroll to the time code, welcome to our spoiler-free part of the review where we'll give our final thoughts on Dunkirk and our scores out of 6 stars.
From frame one, I was sucked in. We were sitting in the front section of an IMAX theater, and I was sucked in the entire time. Once I figured out the structure of the movie, I fell in love with the craft of it. I got sucked into the acting, the production, the emotion of the movie. It all got to me. This is a movie that shows you how powerful storytelling, visual storytelling can be. This is one of those few World War II movies that feels fresh and new in a genre that's like had 70 years, nearly 70 fucking years of exposure in film. This one feels just as fresh as something like Saving Private Ryan did. This is a movie where you want to watch it again so you can get a better grip of how everything comes together. And you're having fun with the craft of it. If you're a film nerd, this is a must watch. If you can get to a 70mm IMAX, fucking do it. If you can't, go watch this movie anyway. 6 out of 6 motherfucking stars.
The guy said it was only 33 IMAX in the world, or?
No, he said it was 30 70mm IMAX in North America. We are one of 2 in Texas.
Very intense, very historically accurate, which is what I like to see when, you know, I come to World War II movies, when they're actually telling a true story. Acting was great. Visual effects was phenomenal. Using real planes, not having to do CGI, kind of like what George Lucas did for Red Tails. Every scene was thrust of emotion, adrenaline pumping, almost squeezing your heart of suspense. I'm gonna have to give it 6 out of 6 too. Better win visual effects awards.
Pretty much a combination of what both these two gentlemen just said. This movie is fantastic. You feel like the tension is there and it's literally gripping you. It's crazy how great this movie is. Words can't put it into justice. I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a giant C. Definitely one of the best movies I've seen this year, and definitely what Daniel said. I'm definitely gonna have to watch this again.
Is this the first one to get a solid 6?
Yeah, no, this is the highest rating we've ever given.
Definitely with more than 2 people.
It wins the HK award. Woo!
Woo! Woo! Woo! Woo! Woo!
So yeah, if you like the video, please press the like button down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We're at 152, I believe, right now.
Yeah.
But we'll like to get it up to 200 before Oscar season. That'd be fantastic. That's a goal to set. Comment below. Tell us what you thought of this movie. Tell us if you totally disagree with us and didn't actually see it.
It tends to happen because people like to judge off trailers.
No, there are some people that are like, alright, hold the phone, it's good, but it's not great. If you've got your problems, feel free to launch them at us. I'm gonna watch this 2 or 3 more times.
We're still gonna disagree with you, so I mean, if you want to voice your opinion, go ahead, but it's not like we're listening.
I'm listening.
I'm not.
If I can somehow get these guys together this weekend, we're doing Viewer's Choice for Goodfellas, and I'm ready to watch that movie. I haven't seen it, and it's apparently one of the greatest movies ever made.
I've seen bits and pieces.
Shit, I'm excited to go check that out.
I don't think I've seen it at all.
If you want to leave suggestions for movies for us to review on Viewer's Choice, just leave a comment down below. Liam and I are going to see a special Q&A screening of David Lowery's A Ghost Story tomorrow.
A Ghost Story?
Yeah, it's the one with Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara. It's about a dead spouse. It's apparently got a 9-minute long scene of a woman eating pie. So, if we sneak some pie in there, do not be surprised. Until we do any and all of those things, thank you very much for watching. Take care. Good night. We'll see you later.